Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, May 7th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, MARA. Very, very impressive day here. And now we have a good solid pattern here. And this pattern is not a great discovery on my part. I'm not trying to imply that I have some sort of special skill. A lot of people have noticed this pattern. And I say all that because when a lot of people have noticed the same pattern and are wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So get this drawn up right around there. And then bottom part of the pattern, this area of support right there. Let me change that to green to represent support. And then make this easier to see. Let's just keep it all one color. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the big move up right here. And then a few golfers out there, put a golf hole down here and make this a little bit more visual. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. But my point here is that it's more than valid and plausible to think that the price can come up here and get a breakup through there. Again, like I said, even if you just want to call that a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's valid to think that that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure and momentum. So if you like this price range, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, PLTR. Very nice mover today. Actually, 2 days in a row now with gap ups. You can see the gap up there, and then today's gap up, and making nice progress in the upwards direction. Although I do think that there's going to be a pullback, and I'll explain why. So let me first get this drawn into play here. Whoops, did not mean to draw it. There we go. There you go. And that is because what I would call a rising wedge nature of this current move, and a rising wedge is actually a bearish pattern. So that doesn't mean now a pullback is not the same as a crash. So I'm not saying this thing's, getting ready to collapse or anything like that. But could I see some sort of pullback? Yeah, I could absolutely see a pullback. In fact, let me change that to green because that is technically the support part of the pattern there. But a pullback, not the same as a crash. And, many would argue, and I think I'd agree with them, that pullbacks are actually healthy from the bigger picture point of view. So again, I could see a pullback coming here over the next couple of days due to this rising wedge pattern. But if the chart just wants to smack me in the face and say, you were wrong, dummy, then yeah, it can come up here and blast up through that area of resistance. And at that point, you would say, well, yeah, it definitely did not care about that rising wedge. And that could happen too. But that's why risk management matters, because always somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. But like I said, as it stands right now, I would call PLTR little mature rising wedge pattern here, suggesting a bit more of a pullback is needed. But we'll see how the next couple of days play out. Next one, LYRA, and this thing had absolutely destroyed. In fact, so much so that I'm going to squeeze this over because it's kind of hard to see because it was such a big gap down. But as soon as I do that, you'll see that we get a little bit bigger here. So first thing to note is whoops, but it's behind my ugly mug now doing that, isn't it? Well, we'll do this. I'll make it just a little bit bigger here. There we go. Like I said, this just kind of illustrates how big of a gap down it was, where it messed up the proportions, but I can do that to make it easier to see. But point here being is that from where it was down here to where it is right now, good solid move, very healthy bounce. But the question becomes, is there any sort of true power behind this bounce? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. In my mind, it all revolves right there around 44.5 cents. And why is that level so important? And I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down here and then just continue on down, what would that be doing to the price? That would be putting the price right back inside of that range where it just was. And that's not exactly a sign of genuine power when something makes a really nice move and then goes right back to where it was. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, but that's why 44.5 cents, very, very important level. Because on the flip side, if the price comes down here and then does something like that, what do you have in this set of circumstances? Well, you have low right there. You have a low right there. You envision those as stair steps. And now you have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. And that's what you want. For a healthy, truly strong move, you want to see progress going forward. Nothing can go straight up, but you at least want to see progress. And again, quote unquote, progress being defined as staying above 44.5 cents. Next one here, SGE. Should have probably put this at a different spot because we already talked about the bull pennant pattern, but We got another one here. So same idea as earlier. I'm not trying to impress you. This is not some sort of great secret discovery. A lot of people have noticed this pattern. So we can once again talk about those potential self-fulfilling prophecies. So resistance, support, huge move up right here, golf hole down here. So another bull pennant pattern. So as I've said, I'll probably say another dozen times, there are no guarantees, but it is more than plausible and valid to think that if the price could come up to the top part of the pattern, get the break up through it, that break right there could create additional buying pressure. So biggest difference here would just be the price range. This is one of these below $5 stocks. So if you like stocks down below $5 or $10, whatever that range is, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one, NIO, and this is a tricky one to talk about because it's all about your perspective. What do I mean? Well, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there, you bought the dip right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well, then from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad because there's no doubt about it. There was a bigger pullback here. However, with that being said, if I squeeze things out from the bigger picture point of view, everything is still perfectly fine. Even if the price were to drop back down to there, what do you still have? Well, you have a set of lows there. You have lows there, you have lows down there, and if you envision each of those as stair steps, then again, from the big picture, you would still very, very clearly have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. Once again, I'm well aware if you're a day trader and you bought right there, you don't care about these stair steps, but I'm trying to distinguish between more of a day trader, scalper, versus somebody that cares about the bigger picture. So yes, today individually, bad day, disappointing day, gapped up, came back down. But think about that word day, as in one day. Looking at multiple days here, you can see that the price still has plenty of opportunity to build that higher base. In the very near term, though, I would consider the main area of resistance right now to keep an eye on right there at that $5.70 mark. So keep a close eye on that. And then just from an overarching level in terms of what would make the chart look the healthiest moving forward, best case scenario would be staying above that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. Next, ticker symbol SOUN. Very nice mover today. And along with that, good solid volume came pouring in. Always good to see. So let's map out. And really, could have put this in a different spot too because, yeah, you're going to have heard of this before. Although I'll say this one's a little different. So green right there. So a slightly different shape, but we have our resistance. We have our support. Now, some people might want to draw the pole right there. Other people might want to draw it from all the way down here. Don't get into a fist fight about it, but, there's a couple different choices right there. But at the end of the day, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. I will say, though, the other thing that stands out is check out the last 30 minutes here. Good, solid last 30 minutes. As I speak, this green candle is trying to get even larger and larger. So a good way to end the day. Will the momentum head and carry into Tuesday? Very valid question. And can the momentum get the break up through there? Another very, very valid question. So if you like this price range, you like those bull pennants, you have quite a few choices now. Next one here, XBP. And this is an interesting scenario because when you go through just the story of the day, so think about it, price gapped up, some poor souls bought right there, and then things were dropping and dropping and dropping. And around here, it becomes a very valid question to say, uh-oh, is this one of these gap and traps? Is this one of these where it's just going to completely collapse? And we got our answer. And as of now, no, it was not a gap and trap because the price has not only leveled out, but it's actually started to go upwards slightly. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there was a pullback and then just because the price, didn't collapse and it started to go sideways and slightly up does not mean for sure that this pullback is over and everything's getting ready to turn itself around. My point here is now it becomes a whole lot more plausible. Let's say the price was still dropping, and I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally just dropping straight down. But that's not the case, right? It has leveled out. So on that note, key area of support, and for no simple, or for no fancy logic, other than the fact that that's just where the bleeding finally stopped today, right there at 308. And then in terms of areas of resistance, I think the key breakout point right there around the 366 mark. So, of course, no guarantees, but a high volume break of that level, I could see it making a very, realistic run, potentially back up to do battle with that area of resistance right there. But like I said, interesting scenario, assuming you like these where you get the gap up, you get a pretty nasty pullback, and then it starts to behave like maybe, just maybe, with some sideways movement, the pullback's over and it's going to try to curl back upwards. Next one, NUVO, and what a wild day on this one. nasty move on Friday, slight gap up this morning, and then just started the day just straight up. And then that's what brings us into our first key area of resistance, because notice right where it, the straight up move essentially ran out of gas, ran out of momentum right there at that pink line, very famous 200 period moving average. You can see previously right there, it had actually rejected the price. So that's my long way of saying, if there is any sort of attempted move back upwards, public enemy number one, all about that pink line there. Not necessarily the price breaking above it, because yeah, it broke above it right there, but more so the main question, can the price stay above it? Is the price going to be able to continue to fight up through there and stay above it? So keep an eye on that level. Like I said, if the price does decide it wants to move back upwards there. In terms of areas of support, very near term wise, that purple line there, 50 period moving average, doing a fantastic job of providing support. In the event that level can't quite hold up, next key area right there around 392, and I would consider that very important level for the same logic we talked about earlier. If the price were to come down here and then break down below there, now you're starting to get into the territory of, all right, price is starting to go right back to where it was, and that's what we want to avoid. You want to avoid big movements up to then go right back to where they were. So 392 is that key level. But like I said, as of right now, that purple line there doing a fantastic job of holding support. Next one, TSLA, Tesla, and overall, good solid day. Now, I know, again, perspective, if you're a day trader and you bought up around there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, not a good day, but all things considered, and what I am mainly talking about here are these lows right here, which you can see continue to creep up and get higher and higher and higher. So in some senses, basically an ascending triangle here with those stair steps. The easier way to do that too would just be to draw a trend line right there. Maybe I'm overcomplicating it. And it's not a perfect pattern, but I would definitely not argue against if you're saying there's a general ascending triangle here within this section, just due to the fact that you have a very beautiful uptrend trend line here that has been being put into play. So keep an eye on that. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area of resistance up to there, which sits at 187.85. Always a good, assuming you're bullish, always a good sign when levels of resistance need to be adjusted in the upwards direction. So keep an eye on that. As far as supports are concerned, nothing new here to report. Still have the 179.20. But moving forward, preferably speaking, if the price can now stay above that purple line, that would certainly make it look the healthiest. But by no means is that purple line some sort of do or die level or anything like that. Next one here, ticker symbol TQQQ. And first off, last 30 minutes, hard to complain about that. Look at this big green candle, good solid volume bar. So that's kind of the zoomed in look at things. Fantastic close. Got the break out of the pattern. But we'll zoom back out here a little bit to give more perspective. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. But first key update comes about based on that foundational rule in charting. When levels of resistance are broken and closes above, you want to see them act as support. So in any sort of pullback, the $57 mark would now be that ideal level. Ideal meaning, what would make the chart look the healthiest and strongest moving forward. And yeah, that would certainly be if the price can stay above that $57 mark. From the overall picture, just watch that purple line right there, 50 period moving average, which I've talked about. And keyword there again being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So it's essentially a trend line that's drawn itself for you. So as long as the price stays above the quote unquote trend line, then the overall trend is still plenty in the bull's favor. In terms of areas of resistance and next potential battlegrounds, that's where we got to make things a little bit harder to see because zoom back quite a bit. Next key level up there right around $59.20. But anyway, look at it. Very nice day today. Very nice last 30 minutes. So we'll see if the momentum carries into Tuesday. For you Bitcoin traders, I'm going to do a bonus Bitcoin analysis here at the end. But for you stock traders, like I said, go get signed up for that free training if you enjoyed what you saw. Thursday, May 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. For you Bitcoin traders, let's talk some Bitcoin. First, quick clarification. We are now looking at the 4-hour time frame. So these candlesticks no longer represent 30 minutes. Each one is 4 hours. And that's because Bitcoin's open 24/7. And I want this analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible. And by using the 4-hour time frame, it allows us to do that. So overall, very impressive weekend. Last talking about it, the price was working its way up and had a good weekend, continued on up. So the first question that you're going to need to ask yourself, so let's just say you're watching this video 15 hours from now after I get it uploaded. Question number one, where's the price at relative to that pink line, 200 period moving average? A pretty straightforward level of resistance. In fact, let me zoom things out. You can see that thing does have a track record right now of being very annoying, very stubborn. And that's what happened right there over the past several hours. Actually more an annoying way because the price actually broke above it, but one of those nasty fake breaks. And then now the price has come back down. So question number one, just ask yourself, where's the price at relative to the pink line? If you're answering the question that the price is up above there, that is a very good sign because that would imply this pullback curled itself around, got up above there. And the further up above the price is, that would just tell you the more powerful and strong of breakout that has occurred. Now, if you're saying, well, Clay, the price is actually still down below that level, then the next question becomes, okay, well, where's the price at relative to the purple line there, 50-period moving average? If you're saying that the price is down below here, but up above there, at that point, the easiest word would just be consolidation. The price is essentially just chopping around, consolidating between those two moving averages. That's a pretty neutral situation. If you're saying or answering the question that the price is down below here, next immediate question is, okay, where's the price at relative to 59,660? If you're saying the question or answering that question, the price is down below there, then that right there is a red flag. That means that this thing has come down, broke through that moving average, broken through here. That would be a very nasty situation. I doubt you're going to be answering it that way, but nonetheless, those would be the key questions that I would ask to give yourself the best idea of where Bitcoin currently stands. And just as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a crypto and Bitcoin trader, because what you learn about in this class definitely can and should be used within your trading also. So like I said, it'll be this Thursday, May 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Go get signed up for it. So if you enjoy these top 10 videos plus Bitcoin, hit that like button, leave a comment below. If you have a request, leave that down below, and I'll try my best to get to it as far as an analysis. But thanks for watching. Go get signed up for that free class.